Hey everybody, hope y'all are doing well. Oh look, it's actually not going to have me doing it in selfie mode. Alright, excellent. Still figuring out how this whole internet thing apparently. Today we are going to talk about, in my opinion, what I have found to be the best automatic chicken feeder. And this is a DIY, so you get to build it yourself rather than go and pay somebody else to do this. So what you will need in a certain descending order is drill. You don't need an impact, but I've got a drill and an impact. Tape measures for different tasks, so you don't need that. But I'm going to make two of these automatic feeders, so I'm going to need two small wooden blocks. You'll need two of these, and I forget what they call them actually, but two, and they're specifically, they need to be the kind of screw in that have this shepherd's hook on them. You will need a spade bit of a corresponding size. The size of the spade bit should correlate to the width. You want it smaller than the width of the thing, so this is probably going to be the one I'm going to go with, this 3/4 bit. See why in a minute. You will need two automatic containers. Generally what I've seen people use is 5-gallon buckets for this. In fact, my first one of these that I built, actually built it earlier, was with a 5-gallon bucket that we have. So I decided to change and do these next ones not out of the 5-gallon bucket, just because I've got these two containers left over that were actually at our wedding, me and my wife's, obviously my wife's wedding, which held like raspberry lemonade or something, which I'm about to destroy. So they've been sitting outside my garage for, I don't know, since the wedding. So I don't think she'll mind, but we'll find out. If you don't see any more videos from me, send help. But the general principle is, you put your feet in the automatic in the barrel, you cut a 3/4 inch spade, which I'm going to do, hole in the bottom so that the shepherd's hook piece won't pass through, but everything else will. Then you screw in into the bottom of this so that the chickens peck on it and it releases food. Now, chickens aren't the smartest creatures on the earth, I'll grant you that. However, it is important to note that they will actually still, the meat birds, which are our dumber birds, our Cornish crosses, have figured out how to use this. Now I'm about to do it for our egg layers. So is there a way to turn this thing around? I don't think I can anymore. So I'm going to spin this around so you can watch what I'm doing. Honestly, I won't really be able to tell because it's not in selfie mode anymore. I didn't expect it to not be in selfie mode. So I'm hoping you guys can make out what I'm doing. If not, I'm going to try to set this up. Should have set this up before I start the call, but such is life. We make do. Don't want to put it there, dude. All right, so you should be able to see. I'm going to pause you for a second. All right, and there is one thing I did forget. You need another drill bit size that will correspond to the wood piece for when you drive your hole for your, I'm just going to call it shepherd's pin, which isn't what it's called, but whatever, so it'll fit into here. So I'm going to make this real quick. Little hole, which when you use the wrong bit is way too small, so we need to go with the proper size. Your test thread, and you'll see it just threads through. Voila. Before we can do that, we need to drill into the container here. Like I said, just a spade bit. Makes very short work of plastic. Voila. There we go. It just turns in. Chickens peck a piece of wood and they get a treat out of it. The chickens, if you're worried about your chickens starving, your chickens may not be the smartest creature in your barnyard, but they will figure out how to feed themselves. They do like to eat. So we're going to make the second one. Voila. Stick it through. The force of the chickens pecking on the wood causes the wood to shake up and release the feed. And it fills up enough of it that without the chickens pecking on it, nothing gets out. Voila! Here's the automatic feeders set up. Actually took me longer to build the platform than it did, obviously, as you just saw. And this is just with 2 containers that are around. There's been nothing negative in this, so I don't have to worry about it poisoning my birds. It was actually what the tea was and stuff for our wedding. So, but I'm gonna pause it, get it set up, and then I'll open it up again and we'll take a look at it when it's in use. All right, this is where I'm setting it up now. There's already been some chickens I hit the wood plank to drop some food down, so hopefully they'll start to go after it. But that's the principle behind this, and you'll see one of the advantages to a system like this. You'll see next to it, I've got what I've been using, which is just a couple trays you put down. I had to build a little thing over it for it to keep it dry. This is a sealed container, therefore it's not going to get wet. It's insulated from that. You know, that's the number one thing that ruins your feed. You get it wet, it turns into like a paste. I've got, you know, this guarantees that the food stays available to my chickens. The question is what level of consumption. That'll kind of be whether this turns out to be something we use long term or not. If the chickens wind up just eating and eating and eating more, I'm hoping due to the number and the size of chickens that I have that they'll self-regulate, but we'll see. But you'll see, it's a very, very simple thing, and I used it using wood left over from various projects that I have. Screws are probably the most expensive part of this, in those containers. So it's a very, very easy concept. It's basically just an auto feeder for the chickens, and you know they'll figure out how to use it, and they'll be able to get their food. So hopefully we'll make our morning chores a little bit easier. But that's it, and it literally took me 20 minutes to build. I mean, like, with you guys on the line with me, it takes very little time to do this. So that's, in my opinion, the best automatic chicken feeder you can do, and it's DIY, so you can do it yourself. So hope you all enjoyed. Hope this helps you out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great and wonderful day. Joe with Bumble Naker signing off. Bye. Actually, you know what? Before I do this, I'm going to pause and go down to look at the meat birds and show you our meat bird one. So that one I did with a 5-gallon bucket. So hold on. Right, I'm down actually now at our meat bird enclosure. We've got these Cornish crosses we'll actually be butchering later this Sunday, I believe. And this will be converting over into a goose coop, hence the pool for the geese. And it's gross, so it'll need to be changed out regularly, but so be it. But this is the automatic feeder I built out of a 5-gallon bucket, obviously bought from Harbor Freight. But same general concept. They peck at the wood, releases the feed, they eat the feed. These are Cornish crosses, so they're just useless birds. To be honest, I'm not a fan of the Cornish cross species. They sit around and lay around and eat. They don't scavenge. We pasture raise our animals, but with Cornish crosses, it feels like it doesn't even make a difference. Like, they barely ate any of this enclosure, and they've been in this enclosure for 2-3 weeks now. Where you can see for the meat birds that were here, the Freedom Rangers we had, I just put some grass down to help recover the area. But their amount of foraging, they foraged this area completely dry. There was nothing green in this area. So that's my plug for Freedom Rangers as opposed to Cornishes. Cornishes just seem to lay around in their own waste. Or at least Freedom Rangers do stuff. But that is the end, kind of how this, what we've done in that automatic chicken feeder. Full disclosure, I am not the creator of that. I don't know the other YouTube channel we were watching, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago. And we were looking at feeders and it came up in our feed. So I built it, kind of had time today and decided to go for it. So let me know what y'all think. If you have any questions about it. Y'all have a great and wonderful day. Bye.